Now, who loves a favorite bedtime story? This book that I'm about ready to read to you is one of my favorite books. And the special thing about this book is my grandmother went to Australia and brought this book back for my boys, and I have never seen it in any of the stores in the U.S. So it's called Little Kiwi Meets a Monster. Little Kiwi Meets a Monster. Little Kiwi loved the bush. He loved exploring it with his dad. Every night, while Dad pottered along, scratching and poking among the leaves and sticks for food, little Kiwi scampered in big circles around him, jumping and scattering leaves and having fun. Then one night, Dad took him deeper into the bush to a place he'd never been before. He crashed into an old, rotten, hollow log and came face to face with a monster, he screamed, and he raced back to his dad. A monster, Dad? In there, he panted. Come, squish it. He quickly pushed his dad as fast as he could towards the big log. Hey, wait, stammered Dad. Hang on. I don't want... Before he could finish, little Kiwi had pushed him into the log, but it was empty. It was there, said little Kiwi. It was huge, it was ugly, with fangs and horns and claws and things. Dad smiled kindly. He guessed his son had been imagining things. It must be around here somewhere, little Kiwi said, and he cautiously went searching. Came a voice near his dad's ear. Has it gone? Has what gone? Dad asked, turning to find a weta nervously watching him. The monster, of course, said the weta. It came bursting in on me while I was eating, and I started screaming and flapping. What did it look like? Dad asked, starting to get a bit nervous himself. Well, said the weta, I didn't get a good look. It happened so fast, but I'm pretty sure it was huge and ugly. Strange, said Dad. Very strange. I better go and look after little Kiwi. Soon everyone in the bush had heard the news and was on monster alert. But even though they looked, no one else saw it. So after a few days, little Kiwi felt brave enough to go exploring again, even to the old rotten log. Ah! It's back, he screamed at the top of his voice. Everyone came running. One by one, they peeked into the log. Nothing. It's gone, wailed little Kiwi. It was here, right here, honest, he sobbed. Dad looked for the weta and found him trembling behind a tree. He came back, stammered the weta. The monster came back. Thought Dad. Well, we'll have to do something about this. How about a trap? Someone suggested. We can catch the monster in a vine noose. Good idea, they all agreed, and they started getting things ready. The next night, the trap was set. All was quiet. Everyone waited patiently. Then, well into the night, they heard something approaching. Thumping, rustling, snapping, cracking noises were coming closer and closer. Something big stepped into the trap and kaboom! It was caught. But it wasn't a monster. Old Kakapoo was hoisted way up into the air, wailing as he went. Whoa! Woo! He boomed in alarm. This was too much for the nerves of those below. With screams and screeches, they ran, flapping in all directions, running and tripping and trembling and tumbling around in the dark. And in the middle of it all, the Weta leaped for safety from the ground onto little Kiwi's beak, looking anxiously in the direction of the trap. Little Kiwi froze in terror. He sat as still as a stone, too terrified to move. When the noise died down, everyone realized that they hadn't caught a monster after all. Did anyone actually see a monster? Someone asked. Among the whispers and embarrassed no's came a faint yes, said little Kiwi. Where? Asked Dad. Here, on my beak, little Kiwi replied. On your beak, thought the Weta, but I'm on his beak. That means the monster's behind me. He spun around, and both Weta and little Kiwi looked straight into each other's huge, frightened eyes. Little Kiwi could hold it no longer. Ah! He screamed. Ah! The Weta screamed back, and that set everyone else off into a squawking panic. Stop! Bellowed Dad. Everyone froze. He turned to his son and said, Is this your monster? Is Weta the huge, ugly thing you saw in the log? What? Sputtered Weta. Me, a monster? And who are you calling huge and ugly? Then he stopped. He suddenly realized that the monster who had frightened him was none other than little Kiwi. Oops, he spantered. Hee, whispered little Kiwi. Sorry. Well, said Dad, I hope you both have learned a valuable lesson. There's no need to be scared of someone just because they look a bit, well, different. If you get to know them first, you might actually quite like them. Come on, he said to the others. Let's go and rescue Kapuka. Sorry, little Kiwi whispered to the Weta when they were alone. Me too, said the Weta. Little Kiwi smiled. You're not really ugly. In fact, you're quite good looking. For a bug. Thanks, said Weta. You don't look so bad yourself for a bird. They both looked at each other, then burst out laughing. Anyway, the Weta added, our moms probably think we're beautiful. And laughing some more, they both went off to join the others. See why it's my favorite book? The boys loved it. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good evening.